Welcome back to Fairy Tale Anime Review, episode number 69. Is it something, though, that today I was going through 7 Deadly Sins, and yet that one surpassed this one? Yes. And just by both sheer coincidence, both their sequel anime. Now, Fairy Tales, this aired this year, while in the case of Fairy Tale 1 Here's Quests, and the Seven Nights Apocalypse aired last year. And now I'm viewing both sequel series this year, and I'm continuing both of their numberings for their anime. The reason why I do this is because I have to start a brand new series per se, so I can just continue this no problem. It's still technically the same franchise, just talk about the sequel series. That's simply the reason for it. So here we're reviewing the 11th episode of the series known as Wraith, the Spirit Dragon. And this episode covers the rest of chapter 35 and goes through chapters 36 to 38. Oh, and with this episode in particular, since episode 38, there is exactly 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There's still roughly 25 episodes, 25 chapters left to go. And based on what I see here, it's estimated that episode 16 probably be the episode to cap off this Wood Dragon arc. Yes. So in the case of Urza, her whole thing is very brief, where it's like, okay, so Kira's there with Loxus and Jalal, where she's there to fight Loxus, so basically she ends up using her sword ability to slice up his robe. And Urza thinks, oh, now's a good chance to go get the orb. Then transform into a fire pants and tape top. And Jalal's like, nah, I'm going to basically take you and just make you white. And Loxus takes on her on, and then we come back to later where she's on the ground. It's like, ooh, you beaten yet? Nope. And that's the whole thing with that one. In the case of Lucy versus the Strauss siblings, well, Osiris technically was defeated, and of course not yet. So, then of course, basically, the other two members of the Diablos Guild, the Armor Dragon, that's better, Skeleton Raider, and Melopay. Oh yeah, and also the whole thing with Wendy versus Nabaru. This one is not exactly concluded here. It just still continues. It's like, okay, so he wraps her up with his little wraps her up with his webbing, and of course tries to eat her, and that's it. It's very, very brief. Yeah. So in the case of the whole thing, of course, they show up, and, well, those two end up fighting, well, the Skull Raider, he ends up fighting Mara Jade, and Mad Mole ends up fighting, well, Elfman. Of course, Lucy tries to get away, and then she's ensnared by, well, first they try to take him out by having, well, Loki and Virgo get defeated. So then she pretty much summons the Mad Cow and Gemini. Macau takes on Elfman, and Gemini takes on Mira, and then it kind of wears off really quickly because those other two show up. So Lasana ends up ensnaring Lucy, and her snake form, which apparently she doesn't like it very much, it covers up even more in the anime than it does in the manga. In the manga, you actually see a little bit of her legs. I don't know if it's artistic error, but that's kind of the way it looks there. But in the anime, she's like completely covered. Yes. And she has these wild, like, high hands on her face. And it almost looks like Lasana was going to kiss Lucy. Lucy's like, nope, Capricorn. And basically has Capricorn knock her out. We'll try to proceed what to do next. Meanwhile, though, in the case of Natsu, he's taking on, well, Wraith. He tries to fight him. Of course, he ends up shoving Half-Face in Wrath's face. And, of course, Wrath needs to knock him out, take his spirit. And it looks like he's about to eat it. And then we cut to his, like, this, what they refer to as a bait heaven, where he's there. It's like, oh, it's nice and fluffy. It's like, I thought I was fighting somebody. And he turns, and, oh, it's Zareth! A guy who's been dead since the previous series. He died, actually, like, toward the very end of it. Yes. I did not expect to see him. Oh, in case you're curious, though, is it the same person from the previous series? Yeah, it's still Joe McDonald. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, Mavis is there. Yes, Mavis. Of course, Knox is very happy to see her, because, of course, basically, it's First Master. And, apparently, get this. So, apparently, they got married, and they have 2 kids together. August and Larcia, who basically, August is like a child here. And then Ignil's there. And I'm surprised that Natsu didn't tell Ignil, hey, I met your son. He's a jerk. And I don't know, it's like maybe Natsu forgot to tell him that. He also mentions that once you leave, you forget everything that happened here. I think it's interesting though that Natsu's meeting his niece, his two nephews. He's like, and of course, maybe I spoiled them rotten. So of course he wakes up. He ends up biting Raph's hand. Comes basically a thought for himself. Beats him up, and then he possesses Raph possesses Happy. Happy gets punched by him, and of course Natsu goes back in his body briefly while trying to tail Raph. He's like, I'm gonna go back to Ghost form, and you can basically take care of, well, missing my body. And of course, chasing around, and he's like, ooh, I found somebody. And he has a business somebody, and Natsu's like, oh, not him. He's not used his legs since the Alvarez War. Yeah, his legs got damaged. And then he proceeds to stand up and beginning their little fight, which should be interesting. Oh, and Lucy, she's going to find Kana, which that should be interesting because Kana's not been seen in a while. Oh, and the whole thing that'll kind of be wrapped up basically for next episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the very next episode, which will definitely air next week. Yep, so yeah, that's particularly it, particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the like button. Well, that's also going to be it for pretty much for tonight, per se, because it's getting kind of late, so I figured they'll call it night now, okay? We'll do so tomorrow. Bye.